Sitting down, I never get to do that. I don't really have a presentation.
You want to take over?
No. I was talking. Where's Cliff? There's Cliff. So I was just talking to Cliff, and something kind of just, and this isn't a joke. I was mentioning to Cliff that I feel like Barack Obama being in office has been kind of a blessing. And no, that's not a Cliff-style joke. Gotta give the man some props. But I think we all realize that there's been a lot of problems in this country, and they didn't start on January 1st, 2009. Exactly. Sorry to break that to you.
It got worse then, though.
Yeah, well, it certainly did. But we've all kind of lived as comfortable lives as possible in America, a very successful country, obviously. And it really took some of the extreme things that's happened over the last few years to get good people like you, or maybe you were already active, I don't know, but many people around the country, everywhere I go, you find more and more people are saying, you know, okay, Bush was obviously no conservative. He was a socialist with his Medicare Part D and his No Child Left Behind and his Real ID Act and his bailouts. This guy was no constitutionalist. We knew it. And we thought voting the bums out was going to do the trick, and it didn't. We just got hope and change. But the blessing is, although we're going to feel a lot of pain in the short run, is that we're getting more and more people who are basically sick and tired of what we're having to experience and what people in this country have put up with since the New Deal and all the way back to Wilson, really. Incremental growth of the power of government. And so me, I guess maybe I'm an eternal optimist in many ways, and I feel like the things like to them telling us what size toilet we can have, what kind of light bulb we can use, what kind of health insurance we're going to have to purchase, or they're going to fine us, or however many agents are going to come get us, or the EPA going absolutely crazy, or control of our children's education. I feel like the more bad things they do, the more people that wake up, and the closer we'll actually get towards what we're supposed to have, which is the Constitution and liberty. So that's I hope you're right.
I hope you're right.
Well, I don't know if I'll be right in my lifetime, because if we're talking about things going back all the way to Woodrow Wilson, I mean, we're talking 100+ years of the growth of the federal government. And we're talking, I run an organization called the 10th Amendment Center, and everyone here I would think is kind of a fan of the 10th Amendment. We're not like ashamed to be 10-13 here. Well, I was at CPAC a couple of weeks ago, and we had 3 events with 2.5, kind of third one kind of blended into the first one. And when we were promoting the event to a lot of the people at CPAC, the #1 question we got to people, we're telling people, okay, we're showing a documentary film about the 10th Amendment, or we're doing a Q&A session on the 10th Amendment, on Thomas Jefferson's vision for the country. And the #1 question we got was, wait, so what is the 10th Amendment? I'm not kidding. The first time I thought, okay, come on, all right. Guy's wearing a Newt sticker, and Newt's talking about the 10th all the time. Rick Perry's talking about the 10th. I'm thinking, okay, you're just kidding. And he was actually kind of offended that I said, oh, come on, you're just joking, right? He's like, no, really. I'm not asking you as some kind of a test or something. What is it? And the first time I thought, okay, maybe this is somebody's just learning. You know, I went to a government school. I grew up a good communist. I recognized that, or I thought that. It's true. It's not a joke either. I grew up in Milwaukee, which had the last known socialist mayor in the country my entire life growing up. And next door in Minnesota, they don't even have a Democratic Party.
He's wrong.
Oh, there's another socialist?
Bernie Sanders.
He wasn't a mayor.
He was the mayor. He was the mayor of Burlington.
Oh, he was? Okay. Okay, so I had one of the last 2. It was pretty bad.
I thought you were perfect.
Not even close. Well, maybe. Okay, so one of the last 2, it was pretty bad. And next door in Minnesota, they don't even have a Democratic Party. It's called the Democratic Farm Labor Party, so you can see how far to the left they are. So I grew up far to the left, and I recognized that maybe this person, like I did, was raised in a government-run school and therefore thought that the solution to all problems was government, and never was taught that there was this thing called the 10th Amendment, which means that the federal government can only do a certain amount of things that were delegated to in the Constitution and nothing more, so no mandates, no bailouts, no federally run education, no environment, garbage, no light bulb regulations. What else do they do to you guys here?
Turkey sandwiches now. Food.
Yeah. They were telling
Vending machines, gas pumps.
in Michigan, where they're having the primary next week, recently, and we do a weekly podcast on our website at 10thamendmentcenter.com, and we had this report come in. We found this news story about how they were telling some local town, some small town in Michigan, that their street signs weren't tall enough. You heard about this?
Yes.
Like the streets in Michigan?
They had to change all the letters.
Right, yes.
Had to change the federal.
The federal government was telling some local town in
And that's
Michigan.
an offense?
Well, I mean, everything's an offense when it comes
In
to...
Boston, none of the street signs mean anything anyway.
Well, that's what I heard. It took me an extra hour to get here tonight.
They all go the wrong way. They change them every week.
So anyways, I thought it was just one guy who had no idea what the 10th Amendment was. But for over a period of 2.5 days, the number one question we heard from people was, what is the 10th Amendment? And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, and you guys are wondering how we ended up with this Obama guy?
Yep.
And that also makes me recognize that when I would tell people, hey, you know, the 10th Amendment, that's the one that's, it's just like I said, they can only do a certain amount of stuff and everything else is left back to the states or the people as they determine in each state. And everybody, of course, was like, oh, okay, great, I like that one. This is almost as good as the Second Amendment. So that to me gives me hope. That there's... Well, I recognize that people do want limits on the federal government. They know that it's needed. They know, like the founders knew, that a government without limits is a tyranny. And the more tyranny that we face, as I was just saying, the more that people are waking up to do things. And one other thing I wanted to mention, actually, I'm just kind of rambling off the top of my head, is, and I just mentioned it, oh, Nancy, was, she asked, how did it go in D.C.? And I said, the best way to describe it is by this article that ran in Esquire a day or so afterwards, which spent a whole page saying all these idiots at the 10th Amendment Center don't know what the hell they're talking about. So I guess that's a big, you know, round of approval that we must have done something right.
Right.
The quote was, get this, that Thomas Jefferson was just a wackadoo. And look it up. It's on Esquire.com.
That's almost
But this is the attitude. This is the attitude of the establishment. This is the attitude of the establishment. And I realize that even though live free or die, someone like Mitt Romney got a hell of a lot of votes here in New Hampshire. And that means that even in the live free or die state, there's a lot of work to be done. And and I know someone back here said, well, I sure hope he's right. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be right in my lifetime. But I know that if we do nothing, we know what's going to happen. That snowball towards tyranny that we're on is just going to keep getting worse.
Slippery slope.
And whether we can save the country, we can return the Constitution and protect liberty in our own lifetime or not, it's our duty to do it. Judge Napolitano gave a speech at what I consider to be the first large-scale 10th Amendment state sovereignty rally a few years ago in Ohio. And his words that he ended that speech with, they gave me chills. It kind of rings through my ears every time I get a little discouraged. Because it happens. I mean, you see government tyranny constantly. And he said something that basically went like this. He said, there are very few generations that have the great opportunity of defending liberty at its maximum time of danger. And he went on to say that this is that moment, and you are that generation.
Yep.
And we can give Judge I mean, I could just keep rambling on this stuff forever if you guys wanted me to. But I want to thank you guys all for being here, whether it's here in this town or in Fresno, California, or in Green Bay, Wisconsin, or wherever it may be. It's what you're doing by getting together. I always have to mention Wisconsin. It's my home state. Getting together and planning to move things in the right direction is absolutely essential. And I think
Reassembly.
if anybody should get a round of applause, it should be yourselves. Please, please. And so my organization, we've been around since 2005, and 2006 actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to add another year. And when, I guess in many ways that's considered an old organization in comparison to a lot of the Tea Parties that popped up in 2009, but I realize that we're barely scratching the surface. The fact that we're irritating people at Esquire or getting people mad at Newsweek or Time or whatever it may be, this is a good thing. And I'm not going to toot our horn too much, but we've made a lot of headway. When the #1 user-submitted question at a recent Fox News debate was, what are you going to do to enforce the 10th Amendment? I know that this is catching on. People want those ones. Absolutely, absolutely. But we can't do it without someone like this guy right here, Mike Rogers. And Mike has been very generous in supporting the work that we do, and I don't want to embarrass you, Mike, but I can't in your home. Thank you for having me in your home. But Mike has been very supportive. He helped as a producer with the funding to put together a documentary film that we just premiered at CPAC on Thomas Jefferson and James Madison's remedy called Nullification of the Rightful Remedy. We're going to be showing it down at the Crown Plaza on Saturday night as well at the Liberty Forum event. And then again in Philadelphia, we're going to show some pieces at the end of March. But without people actually stepping up, so whether you're putting up money to get a new vice chair of the GOP in the state, or if you're helping an organization like the 10th Amendment Center, whatever you're doing, if you have the resources to do it, it really does make a difference. Because without people like Mike and many others around the country who are saying, you know what, enough is enough, I'm stepping up, I'm going to do something, these ideas don't get out there. And we really want to make some real change, not the Obama-style change. So without rambling too much longer, I actually have a gift that I brought for Mike to kind of
Marmar.
And Marmar too, yeah. She fed me tonight too. So. Mike doesn't know that I was planning on this, but
I just have a wallet. She's the potty.
This is it's a very small token, but we don't like spending people's money to donate with extravagant gifts. But I wanted to present Mike with a plaque as a lifetime member of the 10th Amendment Center for all the great work that you've done. Mike, can you show it down here?
Now we know why he's copying this thing. I have no idea.
But again, I don't really have much more else to say other than thank you for being here. Thank you for feeling that the time is now to stand up and do something, because it is now. It's not next year. It's not after the elections. It's not in a month. It's not next week. The time to act for liberty is today, not tomorrow, right now. Thank you.
Here, here.